Hey guys, so it's time to do the video no one else has done, and it's coming from me, one of the guys that's been using so many smartphones over the years. And hold on, before you comment anything about Apple sucks, the clear winner here is gonna be the Samsung Galaxy S4. Now remember, not everyone is a geek. There's a lot of people right now that's using the iPhone 4S. The phone that I'm having right here. You can see the model number here of i387. So, I mean, not everyone is a geek. Not everyone is a geek. And I think we'll see a lot of comments that the Galaxy S4 here is the winner. I mean, it's a newer phone, has better specs and everything, but I mean, remember, there are different people out there. People have very, very different needs. And I think that a lot of people on YouTube see me as the Samsung guy. I'm the Samsung guy. People want to put like a sticker on you. There are tech guys out there like Soldier Knows Best. People see him as the Apple guy. And then we have other people on YouTube like John for Lakers, the guy behind Techno Buffalo. He's more the Android guy. And I'm the guy that I want to be everything because I just love tech so much. So we're going to do this video right now comparing the Samsung Galaxy S4 versus the iPhone 4S, because I think there's a lot of people out there that have the iPhone 4S. I mean, Apple is pretty big, you know, and the iPhone 4S, it was the phone before iPhone 5, and there's a lot of people out there, millions, I'm not sure if there, maybe even 100 million people out there with an iPhone 4S right now. That could be the case. That means there's a lot of people interested in this device versus a new high-end Android smartphone. Maybe they don't know everything about specs. Maybe they search on YouTube to find a video like this, and here they are. So who am I, and why am I doing this video, and why should you listen to me? Well, I have a lot of experience in smartphones, so that's why I'm doing this video. I work with this, and I want to say to my subscribers that, I mean, like, I'm coming from both sides here. I love Apple. I love Samsung. And I think a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that I'm on both sides. I mean, I use Apple computers in my daily life, and then I have a Samsung smart TV. Yeah, kill me. I use products from both these companies. Every day, I use my iPhone 5 here to listen to music. It's my MP3 player, and I love it. It's great. It's awesome. Why don't I use an Android smartphone to use this? Well, because I like the small little form factor here of the iPhone in my hand compared to a bigger Android smartphone. And I also do like the Spotify app more on an iPhone than what I do in the Android world. I'm just so used to it. So I use an Apple product every day, and then my main smartphone right now is a Galaxy S3, a 4G variant. So I use both Apple and Samsung products every single day. I know, yeah, kill me. Kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me. I'm using this. It's bad. I think some people would call bad because I'm using products from two companies. I should hate one of these. I should hate Apple. Yeah, I should hate Apple. I should hate Samsung. Yeah, I should hate Samsung. No. We all have different needs, and I love tech, so let's start off with this video. So we will be starting off here to check out the price, and then a little bit of the form factor wise, and why you might want to upgrade if you are running an iPhone 4S and you are thinking about an S4. Is a Android smartphone something for you? It's a very, very good question. I mean, it's a good question. It's a good question. I mean, is this coffee nice? It's also a good question. Let's get on and start with this video. I wanted to have this quick little introduction here because people, so people don't complain too much in the comment section down below. And yeah, so let's start off. So as I said, we'll be checking out the price, form factor, software, hardware, specs, some apps, and then I will sum it up a little bit. That was good actually. So the first thing we can check out here is the price. So we do have a 2011 smartphone here versus a 2013 smartphone. So what we can see here is the price of the 4S versus the S4. I love it, the 4S S4. Almost sounds the same, 4S S4. It's like backwards and everything. So we can see that the price of the Galaxy S4 right now as a new smartphone and flagship device from Samsung for 2013 The price seems to be at around 600 pounds, British pounds. While you can get an iPhone 4S for around, let's see here, 460 pounds. So you can get it for around 100 to 200 pounds cheaper, the Apple iPhone 4S. And is that worth it? I mean, it all depends how much money you have, of course, how you look at money. But of course, you don't know right now because I haven't even started off the video by comparing stuff and seeing which one is better. So now you know the price difference here. It's a little bit of a price difference. And let's start off now with the form factor here, the form factor wise. So if you turn off the display here, first of all, you know, or a black iPhone here, a white Samsung product. Of course, these comes in a ton of different colors. You have the Black Mist and the White Frost edition here, the S4, and also, of course, the iPhone 4S. iPhone 4S here also comes in a white edition. There you did see there is a cool sensor up here on the S4. That's just one of the cool features that you do get in S4, that you don't even have to touch the phone to check out some pretty cool things. Pretty awesome. So if you start off here with the display, so you get a 3.5-inch display here on the Apple iPhone 4S, and we'll go deeper into the specs here very soon. Where you get a 5-inch display here on the S4, and you can see a difference here. You can definitely see a difference here in terms of size difference. It is smaller, and this one is bigger. Is it too big for your hands? That's a good question. Phones, especially these new phones, have been getting bigger and bigger by the year. And if you're going from a 4S to a bigger Android smartphone right now, or just a bigger smartphone, you might the first week feel a little weird, but from my experience, most people is getting used to it after a while. So bigger display here, and then we do have button down here on both phones. You do have Apple like to keep it simple, so they just have one home button here in the middle, and it's very, very easy to know how to use it because it's just one button. You just click on it. On the S4 here, you do also have a home button, of course, and that's how you use it. But then you do get two capacitive touch buttons on the sides, so you get some extra functionality when you're on a sort of apps. You have the menu key here that usually bring up a menu with cool things, and then you have the back key. And of course, with the back key here, how it works on the iPhone, you just tap home and you come back to home. It's that simple. Now, if we check out the sides here of the phone, we can see that on first the right side here on the phone, you do get the power on button here on the S4, but you don't get nothing here on the 4S. On the left side here of the phones, here you can now see you get some buttons here on both devices. You get volume up and down keys on both these two phones, while you get more of a cool rounded off design here on the 4S. While on the S4 you do get these kind of linked together, and then you also get a mute switch here on top on the 4S. And then if you check out the back here, or the bottom of the phones, you do get a big port here to charge your 4S, and then you get a small port here, micro USB port, to charge your S4. I love it, 4S, S4. If I confuse it in this video, I'm very, very sorry, but sometimes you can easily confuse it because it's almost the same. Up here at the top, here is the place where you do get the power on button on the 4S. And the reason why they can put it on the top here is because the phone has a very, very, just because it's not as big in terms of size, it doesn't feel weird when they put the power on button at the top. It's very, very easy to reach. And then Samsung also did think of this, that if they would put the power on button probably at the top, it would be a little bit hard to reach, but they were clever enough to put it on the side there. So both these two phones have very, very good buttons. They are not placed in a weird place or anything. Both headphone jack is also at the top. And let's talk about the back. So when we go to the back, we have the magical camera. So you do get an 8-megapixel shooter here on the 4S, and then you get a 30 megapixel shooter here on the S4. Speaking about speakers here, they're probably better aligned here on the iPhone here, because they are aligned here at the bottom, and that's better, because when you have it on the table, you get the sound from here. Now the optimal place to put it, of course, would be at the front, like the new HTC ONE. And then we do have the S4 here, or should I say the Samsung smartphone. On the Samsung smartphone here, we do have S4. We do get the speaker at the bottom or at the back, and that could be bad if you have the sound like this. Then I'm pretty sure that you will get a better sound here, because it's coming from here instead of coming from the back here that you do get on the S4. Now let's put on these two displays. Now I also should say about how do these devices feel in my hand. How do they feel? Which one feels the best? And what kind of weight do they have? Well, I will go over the specs here, but I can quickly say here that even though the Samsung product here is a little bit, oops, should take that one off, because it's a little bit hard to do a video with that one on. I should say that even though the Samsung products look very big here, the S4, it is lighter actually, even though it has a bigger screen. So 130 grams here versus 140 grams that this little iPhone here is having in weight. Also, in terms of material wise, the iPhone definitely, even though it's older, it feels a little bit more as a premium phone, because it is using glass on the back and on the front, and then like, is it aluminum or metal material around the phone that I think most people already do know by now. So it feels definitely very nice, and that it is heavier makes it feel pretty cool and exclusive here, while the S4 here has more of a plastic feeling here. Probably better if you would drop the device, because then it probably wouldn't break as easily. I have actually by experience dropped one on my or my 4S, and then it did smash the back. Now one good thing though is that there are pretty good replacement. A lot of companies is working on that they can replace the back, and it's not that super expensive, so of course that's very nice. Now also one of the good things here with the Galaxy S4 here is that you can take off the back, which means that you do have some more options here. First, you can replace the battery, and if you would drop the phone in water, you can easily dry the battery just by taking it out. You can also insert a bigger battery here and have a bigger back, same as we did see with the Galaxy S3, that they were coming out bigger batteries with a bigger back. And then also you do have the SD card option, so you can expand the internal storage if you listen, or if you have a lot of media that you want to store on your device. So now let's dig into the phones a little bit more here, and let's talk about the software. So the software is always fun, and of course these phones, as you can see, they're running different operating systems. So you get Android here, as Samsung use, and this is how it looks like. You do have your different home screens, you do have an app drawer, you do have a notification area where you have some quick toggles, so you can quickly toggle things like sound, Wi-Fi, screen rotation if you want to disable that. You have a brightness slider also that's pretty quick to adjust the brightness. You do have a quick area to see all your notifications also. And also, if you want to have more quick toggles, or just go into the settings, you can easily just tap here on settings, or you can tap here to edit these things. So quite useful there. And as you can see on these home screens, I can both have apps and I can also have widgets. And you can also see if I use the home screen or the phone's menu button, you can see that if you are in a specific app, you just tap on the menu button here to get up the various settings for that app. If you just want to go back, you just tap on the back key. If you want to see your programs open up, you just hold in the home button here, and then you can see all your apps, and you can swipe to remove them, or you can go to this area to see some stuff like system storage, active applications, downloaded stuff, and also your RAM usage. So pretty useful there, pretty sweet, and that is how Android looks like. with Samsung's own TouchWiz UI on top. And you do see that I do have an update here coming for my Samsung Galaxy S4 that I will update my phone later on. The Galaxy S4 has some software issues right now that it lags a little bit when I go to the back to my home screens, so this update might fix it. It's 74 megabytes, and I will definitely do a video about that, I'm pretty sure. And now, in terms of the operating system that you do get here on the iPhone, it's iOS from Apple, and it's more of a simple operating system. You have your apps, so you have pages here. I'm not sure if you call them home screens, but something that's extremely useful here is that it's very, very simple. You just have your apps. You download apps from the App Store, and you can buy stuff from the App Store. And iOS is a lot about focusing more on just simplicity, apps. If you want to search for an app, you swipe one time to the left here, and it's pretty useful. If you want to go, you do of course have a settings area here where you can actually go into specific apps here like videos, and you do have some small settings, things you can customize, but overall it's very, very stripped down. You don't have super many customization things you can do with the phone, and we do have some things like Wi-Fi here, of course. You don't have any quick toggles here, but you do have a notification area here, and you can see no new notifications. You don't have as much freedom here. I can't toggle things that I might want to be able to toggle quick. I have to go into settings to do that. Now, if you want to multitask, of course, you can do that also on an iPhone. Use double tap here, which I would say is a little bit annoying compared to just holding in. So you can double tap here and you will see all of your apps, and also if you listen to music, you do have an area for that as well. Also, if you want to toggle portrait mode, you can also do it here. So you can actually have a quick toggle here, and yes, you do have a quick toggle here also for sound. And of course you do have the mute switch here on the side of the phone, but overall it's a little bit more of a stripped down operating system. If you want to have more freedom in iOS, you can definitely go and jailbreak the phone, but from my experience that can make the phone also very, very unstable, so definitely something that you might want to consider as well. If we go over now the full specs on these two devices, the first thing I can say is that we do get a faster phone overall here, of course, with the S4. The first thing that we do get faster here is if you're on a carrier, you do get faster carrier speeds here on the Galaxy S4. You do get a 4G smartphone here, and the 4G is so much more quicker than normal 3G speeds. So you get HSDPA speeds of 42 megabits per second on the S4, while you only get speeds up to 40 megabits per second on the iPhone 4S. The Galaxy S4 is a little bit thinner, and it is also a little bit lighter. So a tiny bit lighter here, and a tiny bit thinner. It also feels like I have to push a little bit harder here to use the buttons on my iPhone. That could also be because it's been used a lot. Now, if we continue here on the specs area, what kind of screen technology do you get? Well, you get a LED backlit IPS LCD display here on the iPhone 4S, and it's quite an interesting display because when it did come out, it was extremely cool. Or actually, it did come out first on the iPhone 4, and then it did have the same technology here on the 4S. But it's a very good screen that when it did came out, and it still works today as an extremely incredible display technology for 2013. It still is a very, very nice display. So it has a resolution of 640x960, 3.5 inch. Protection on the front side is Gorilla Glass first generation. So we do have some protection here against scratches and things with the keys in your pocket and more things like that. I don't have that many complaints about the screen. You have an amazing PPI, pixels per inch, of 330, so really good display here. But how does it stack up against the AMOLED display here on the Samsung Galaxy S4? Well, you get a Super AMOLED screen here on the Samsung Galaxy S4, full HD screen, 5-inch, and Gorilla Glass 3 on top. So the first thing that you will see is that you get more vibrant colors on the Samsung Galaxy S4. We did also see that Apple with the colors on the iPhone 4S after you use the iPhone 5 looks a little bit boring, because Apple with their latest iPhone, the iPhone 5 here, what they've done is that they have made the colors a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more looking like the vibrant feelings that you would get on a Samsung Galaxy S4. You can see that it's a little bit boring, the 4S display and also the iPhone 4's display. They look very, very boring here compared to the iPhone 5's vibrant color screen, and also to Samsung's Galaxy S4's vibrant screen here. Still, it's a decent phone, at least. I mean, in terms of quality, the big difference here is definitely that you have more vibrance and more saturation here on the AMOLED display compared to the display that you do get on the iPhone. But still, amazing display. You do get amazing displays on both these devices. So if we continue on now and also check out some storage options, we can see that we do get more storage options here on the Galaxy S4. Just because we do have an SD card option on the back, you can insert a little bit, a card up to 64 gigabytes, might be bigger SD cards out right now. Amazing if you watch a lot of media, you have a ton of music. If you have a sick music album or a sick music collection or a sick video collection, you just want to store all your stuff on your Galaxy device or use a smartphone, then the ultimate choice here would be to get a Galaxy S4, because first you can buy the 64 gigabyte variant Galaxy S4 plus a 64 gigabyte SD card. On the iPhone still, you do have some pretty decent storage options, because there is a 64 gigabyte iPhone 4S out, but that one probably is a little bit more expensive because there's not that many people buying it. And the same goes with the Galaxy S4. In terms of RAM or when you multitask a lot, you do get only 512 megabytes RAM on the 4S here, while on the S4 you do get 4 times as much. You get 2 gigabytes. So it does a multitasking there in heavy apps. It should be way better here on the S4. We also get NFC connection to transfer media and also make some mobile payments on the S4. It has that or that technology built in, and it also has an IR port here at the top, so you will be able to control your TV. I can actually control my Samsung Smart TV with my Galaxy S4, so that's pretty cool. It's also a camera here. You do get an 8 megapixel shooter here on, as I said in the beginning, on the 4S versus the S4's 30 megapixel one. And I did take some pictures that we'll be taking a look at here very, very soon, and you can see the difference. Also you get in terms of the chipset, you do get the Apple A5 chipset, Apple's own chipset inside of the iPhone, and Apple likes to be able to control the full experience, the hardware and the software. So even though they might have not as good specs, if you just look at the specs, most of the times they perform pretty well. Where you do get the Snapdragon 600 chipset that really do kill if you're just gonna look at benchmarking scores inside of the S4. It's the same chipset that you do get also in the new HTC ONE, which is HTC's flagship device for this year. So you do get the quad-core 1.9 GHz clock processor inside of the Galaxy S4, which is insane. It's higher than the HTC ONE's 1.7 GHz also, where you only get a dual-core 1 GHz Cortex A9 processor inside of the 4S, which is a lot worse. It's so much worse, but just because this OS is just running apps, I don't think most people will complain that much. Because the performance is still pretty decent. In terms of GPU here, though, you also get a sick GPU inside of the Galaxy S4. Same GPU that you would get in the Sony Xperia Z, the Nexus 4, the HTC ONE, the Adreno 320 GPU versus the PowerVR SGX 543 MP2 GPU that you also do get inside of the 4S, which is also pretty decent gaming or GPU, I suppose, graphic processing unit. I think that we'll try out some gaming here and see the performance. Also, in terms of battery here, you get 1400 or 1400 milliamps inside of the 1432 milliamps inside of the 4S, where you do get 2600 milliamps in the S4, which of course is a lot higher, so you'll probably be able to get some way better battery life inside of the Android S4. So that could also be fun and interesting to know. Now, if we start to check out some things, let's start to check out some Safari browsing, so we can see how it looks like. So if you go to the same page, and I have problems, really big problems typing on this very, very small display. So if you go to GSM Arena, which is a tech website, I love it, it's great. Now, most of the times when you go, I'm not sure what you prefer, but of course most websites are now compatible, or they have a mobile view, so that could be something that you might want to think about. They have a mobile view, they have a mobile version of their website, and if you do like mobile versions, the mobile website when you are on your smartphone, then the 4S is perfect. With this little small display, it doesn't really matter because you don't need that much. But from my experience, I love to have the full website view of how it would look like on a desktop, and that's also one of the reasons why I do love big smartphones. So let's just go to the bottom and go to the full desktop version here. So the first thing I can see here is that the LCD displays, and most of the times this is something that I usually say in my reviews, the LCD display here on the 4S, actually the white colors looks a lot more white than on the Samsung Galaxy S4. And I do have the adaptive display technology right now on the Samsung Galaxy S4, if you are wondering. So also in terms of going up and down, if you zoom in here a little bit, you can see that when I try to go up and down, I have to do this multiple times, while on the Android smartphone I can just do it once and it will go down a long time. So I used to have to do that once. So definitely something that I do appreciate here more with the Samsung Galaxy S4. It's a little bit annoying if you are on a page with a lot of text, you have to go up and down for a long period of time. Very, very, very annoying. Now, in terms of performance, when you go in and out, it's so good. I mean, the performance in the software plus the hardware here, the optimizations, is just amazing. It's super, super good. While on the Android smartphone here also, it's very, very good, but maybe not as good. You can see that it has to re-render a little bit more here on the Samsung Galaxy S4. One of the reasons is because it has a bigger display, so it has high resolution. I mean, it's a 1080p display. It has 440 pixels per inch. So in terms of seeing more text, definitely you have more potential here on the Galaxy S4, definitely. So let's click on something here. Something else I don't like about the iPhone here, because it has a glass back, that means that usually it can move around when you're zooming in and out and when you're doing it with one hand. Because usually I have my phone on the table and I like to zoom in on stuff, and I don't want to have the phone move around like this one is doing right now. It's a little bit annoying there with the iPhone. If you zoom in on this one I don't have to think that it's moving around too much when I use zoom in, which is pretty nice. So also in terms of colors here, we can see here that the colors looks more vibrant, as I said earlier, more interesting on the Samsung Galaxy S4. And of course both these phones right now, they are connected to my network here, my home Wi-Fi network. And also let's try to zoom in on this one. So you can see a way more like an interesting look here. For me personally, colors looks way better here. Darker color here, darker color. White looks a little bit more white here, as always with the LCD display. So quickly look there in the browser and some things that you might want to know over there. Now let's start to check out some quick reading here. Also a quick little reading app. For me, reading is a big thing. And again, white looks a little bit more white here than on the Samsung Galaxy S4, and also darker colors looks very good here on the iPhone. Let's try to go to the smallest text possible. So there we go. I went to the smallest text possible. Let's do the same here. You can see here that the app itself takes some time before it updates itself. So even though we went to the smallest text possible here, you can still see that the text is smaller here on the iPhone. See here if my camera can focus. So when I take these up to, let's see here, I will take these up to my head here to see if I can see any difference. Interesting. You'll probably be able to see a little bit of a difference, that it's a little bit sharper here on the Galaxy S4 because it has a little bit of a higher PPI, 400 PPI, so 100 more pixels per inch. But is it a major thing? No, it's not. The major thing here in reading is the white looks a little bit more white here on the on the 4S. So that might be something interesting there. Also, we can now try to zoom in here. Interesting. So you can see here the colors here. Didn't really think about doing this earlier, but you get a quick little view here. And definitely when you look, I'm gonna go deep in here. You can probably also see it a little bit. If you really look close on the display, you can probably see that you get a little bit better PPI here on the Samsung Galaxy S4. Not a major thing though, and I don't think most people really will care that much about that. And also here, let's try to fire up the camera. So of course with iOS it's very simple here. You don't have that many camera settings, not that much interesting things you can do. You have some quick options here like grid mode and HDR mode and panorama mode that actually looks that actually works pretty good. Then they do have auto mode here, but if you want to experiment a lot with a lot of different settings stuff, the iPhone 4S here isn't really something for you. When we are inside of the camera app here on the GS4 here, first you can see that it have adopted the Samsung's Galaxy camera. It had adopted its UI, so you get a cool UI here compared to older Galaxy devices. First you have a mode setting here. So you have some cool modes here you can play around with, like a night mode to take better pictures during nighttime, a sports mode to take pictures, fast movement, a panorama mode, which is pretty hard to control and take good pictures with from my experience, so it's probably better on the iPhone. An eraser, so you can save the best picture after erasing moving objects. A rich tone, HDR mode that you can play around with. Me, personal opinion, I haven't really seen HDR work that good. Create a picture containing selecting moving objects by animating parts of the picture. You have a drama mode, take multiple pictures. And you have sound and shot, enrich pictures by adding background sounds for a few seconds. So you also have a cool mode, a dual shot mode, as you can see up here, where you can actually record. So you can see here that I can actually record myself while I'm actually recording what I see. So pretty cool feature there. so you have a lot of settings here, and let's take a look at the camera. I mean, the camera is 30 megapixel. It is higher resolution, so you will get some high resolution pictures. But let's take a look at them. So let's go into some pictures I did take here. So let's start off with this one. So let's take a look at the same picture here. So the first thing I want to see here, and what we can see here, is that my MacBook Pro that I have my Galaxy S3 on, when I did take this picture, it looks more white, or the same, or the color that it should have. Let's try to zoom in here. We can definitely see a lot more vibrant colors here on the AMOLED display. Let's see how much we can zoom in. So you can see this is the only way I can zoom in. I can't zoom in more here. We can see that details aren't really as good here on the iPhone, while if we zoom in here on the AMOLED display here, we can see that we can zoom in, we have a lot of details, and I can zoom in more. It's crazy how much I can zoom in. You can really see a massive difference here in the quality that you do get. I mean, I can zoom in even in more here. It's very cool. So let's take a look at another one that I did take. So I did take this one as well. Of some cookies, and this time around we can also see that we do get the plate looks the color it should, while it looks like a little bit more of a yellowish color here on the iPhone, and the chocolate definitely looks the more how it should on the AMOLED display. Let's take a look at this cookie here. Nice cookie. You can also see a major difference there in the details, amount of details, and how this one was a little bit yellowish. Then I did take another picture here. Then this one also, you can see very big difference here. Green and the vibrant colors here of the AMOLED display really looks amazing. So quickly look here. So to sum it up, I mean, you get a decent camera still. I mean, it's an okay camera on the 4S, but it's not even close to the details and everything that you do get on the S4, of course. And it shouldn't, because it's an older phone. So if we now also continue and start to check out some other cool things. Now let's take a quick look here at a quick game here to see how the graphic processing unit is doing. So let's fire up Asphalt. And here you can really see the difference also in terms of which display is the best. So let's start off here with the iPhone. So you can see first of all here the graphics, darker colors here, a little bit more brighter colors here on the iPhone. But really the big display really makes the gaming experience so much more fun here and enjoyable. Still extremely good performance here for a phone that cost almost or could be even more than £200 less than a new Galaxy S4. So you do get very good performance here, almost as good as the iPhone here. So really optimized game here for the iPhone. And that is something that they're really good at, optimizing games in the Apple world with the App Store. Because they know people will pay for the apps. And people spend a little bit more money in the App Store, in the Apple world, than in the Google world. Or the Android world, I guess I should say. So I can't complain anything about the performance here. Well, it really feels like a total new experience, in my personal view, with the 1.5-inch big display here on the Galaxy S4. And the performance is really identical. Me personally can't really say that I feel a performance difference. So that could be something that is nice to know. So now let's go out here. So also let's take a quick little look here at a quick benchmarking program called Geekbench. Yes, it do exist a benchmarking program here in the Apple world. So we got a score of 3,192 here on the Galaxy S4. Takes a little bit longer here to run, and also remember that it might be a little bit harder to get a higher score here on the S4 because that's a high resolution display. Might draw a little bit more because that's more pixels that it has to work on with the Geekbench program. So, okay, get a low score, it's obvious, but in real world performance, will you see a major difference? Probably not, and of course it depends a lot on what you do, but you did see there, especially in gaming, developers optimize their games a lot in the iOS world, so you can get insanely awesome performance. Now, to sum it up, which phone is for you? Well, you should have a pretty good idea after watching this video which one you do prefer. But why would you get the 4S, and why would I get the 4S? If I was a normal person that didn't review phones and everything, I could still consider buying the 4S because of things like price, that you can get it for 100 to 200 pounds cheaper, maybe even more, and you can probably get it for way less if you do find a person. But it is smaller, it is a little bit more slim, could be something for you. Build quality definitely feels nice still. If you already are an Apple user, that's the big thing for me. If you already are an Apple user and you use iTunes a lot, you use the App Store a lot, you do have MacBooks at home, then it's very simple to buy an iPhone, because there is annoying to learn something new, like a new operating system. So there are some of the reasons why I would be able to consider to buy the 4S. But if you want to have the best, if you want to have something more cool, interesting, and something definitely with more cool built-in features, you should buy the S4. The screen, the battery, the specs, cool features like air gesture that I didn't even have to touch the display to do some things. I can show you if I'm in the browser like this, I can simply do it like this to go down. That is one of the cool things with air gestures, and there really is some really cool features here inside of the the Galaxy S4 that this is so much more cool. You get a better camera. You do get 4G speeds. You do have wireless charging if you buy one of those charging little things. That's extremely cool. Almost everything's better, okay? Almost everything's better, but for some people, the 4S it's nice. People like what they've always used, and that's fine too. But some of the killer features here with the S4 for me is quick toggles. I can quickly toggle stuff. I can't do that here. It's annoying. So quickly a view here, and also I can use 2 apps at the same time. If I just hold in like this, I can have 2 apps open up at the same time on the S4. So you can do some insane stuff here. You can do some insane stuff, and as a geek, I do appreciate that I can do almost anything with the S4. There is so much freedom. If you want to put in media on my phone, it's way easier to do that on an Android smartphone. And it's nice. Also here in connections, you do have S-Beam, NFC, nearby devices. You do have a lot of things that I can play around with, and I like to play around with stuff. Really try to have the best. I want to be unique. That's why also I love Android, and I want to see what's coming up here. I want to experiment with latest technologies. That you do get an IR port here, so you can control your TV with your S4. It's just amazing. You do get NFC, so you can make mobile payments in different areas with this phone. It's just so much with the Android free world here, but it might not be something for you. So quickly a video here. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like or comment or maybe subscribe, and I will try to work on doing better content in the future. So yeah, right now just have an awesome day, and hopefully I will see you all in the next video. And if you couldn't guess it already, the Samsung device here, this is the winner, okay? This is the winner. Have a good day.